Oh.
last workout.
Yeah. It was weird though. Like the sky went dark, and I was like,
Yeah, it was like, it was gross.
it was kind of cool though.
Yeah. Well, last night was just great too. Some was at the same time. Yeah, a lot.
I know. I'm like, just saw it for a minute there.
This July 2nd, 2025 meeting of the Blendon Township Board of Trustees is now called to order at 6:30 p.m. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all for coming. Roll call, please. Heigl? Yes. Lemonade? Present. Simoco? Present. Okay, do we have any public comment, Pat?
Not have public comment this evening. And since we don't have public comment, I would ask the three of you to introduce the speaker that we have, if that's okay.
Okay.
With the aqua water increase request to the Public Utilities Commission of Ohio, we thought it might make sense to have someone from PUCO to come in. He's Director of Public Affairs. His name's Matt Schilling. And Matt's going to come in and talk about, from the time that letter hits until the time there's an ultimate decision made by the Board of Commissioners, how that works. And then he has mentioned that afterwards he'd be happy to take some questions if people would like to talk.
Good evening, trustees. My name is Matt Schilling, the Public Utilities Commission of Ohio. Thank you very much for having me tonight. It's a pleasure to be here to meet with you guys and talk about the rate case process that goes on at the Public Utilities Commission of Ohio. As Mr. Meyer indicated, Aqua Ohio, which, as you know, serves water and sewer here in several places around Franklin County and the rest of Ohio, has as recently as Monday afternoon, filed with the commission a request to increase its distribution rates, what we call a rate case. So water and sewer service are regulated utilities. If the utility wants to raise its rates, they must seek permission from the Public Utilities Commission of Ohio before doing so. We have what we call our rate case process, which is essentially set by state law on how this process takes place. So in this proceeding, what's happened already is the utility, I believe it was near the end of May or early June, sent what we call a pre-filing notice to impacted communities, letting the local government and citizens know, hey, we're about to file for an increase in rates, and here's kind of the process. So that is a precursor to filing what I would call a full-blown application, which they did, as I said, Monday afternoon, just on the 30th. So the process at the Public Utilities Commission of Ohio can take, by law, actually, law gives us guidance that it should take 275 days, so about 9 months or so, for the PUCO to review the utilities application and come to a determination and ultimately set what rates are. So the PUCO's mission is to assure that residents in Ohio have access to safe and reliable and adequate utility services at fair prices. So we are a regulatory body. We're not necessarily an advocate for any one constituency. The commission is charged with balancing the needs of utilities, customers, residents, and the energy companies, utility companies, natural gas companies themselves. Obviously, very obviously, consumers are interested in the lowest possible rates. Utilities are interested in sufficient rates to recover their costs and earn I'll call it, quote, reasonable return on their investments so they can invest in the system itself. It's up to the commission to determine what are your appropriate costs, what are the utilities' appropriate costs, and what is a reasonable return on their investment. So the process, the Public Utilities Commission of Ohio is a 5-member commission. Think of it as a panel of judges. They are all appointed by the governor. Every year, there's 5 of them, so every year one commissioner comes up for appointment. They're the ultimate decision makers, and they will decide what their rates should be, what the utilities' appropriate costs and return are. However, we have a technical staff that does a lot of research and fact-finding for the commission to help in that process. So as we just got the application on Monday, the next step for the commission is for our technical staff to publish what we call a staff report. We have a team of accountants, economists, engineers, attorneys, you name it, that are poring over all the data the utility has provided to the commission in its application, which, side note, is publicly available on our website. I can point you to it. Poring over that and fact-checking, auditing the numbers, the infrastructure, the what we call plant and service, fancy regulatory name for the infrastructure to serve customers. So, you know, the utility will file the paperwork to say, hey, here are our costs in a 12-month period. Here are our income and revenues. We are fact-checking that, making sure that it is accurate. If not, making adjustments. Not unusual for the utility or the commission staff to make adjustments to the figures the utility provides. So in a couple months here, probably about a 3 or 4 month period, that staff report will be published, again, publicly available on our website. Everyone can read it and see it. And at that point, it moves to a public input process. There's kind of 2 public input processes. One is a formal, where we have local public hearings throughout the service territory across the state, where in this case Aqua serves. An administrative law judge takes sworn testimony from customers, and the commission is interested in hearing pretty much absolutely in everything from a consumer, if what they think is fair, what your experiences are as a customer. All that helps guide the commission in making a formal decision. The other part, we take public comment at all times. You can do so now. We've already received some. I was looking at the case docket actually this afternoon. A couple of Blending Township residents already have provided comments, which is wonderful. You can do so very easily by just writing us an email, going to our website, hitting the contact us page at uco.ohio.gov. Again, the comments, anything as broad as your thoughts on what is fair and reasonable, your experiences as a customer, all that is fair game and valuable information to the commission. There's really no formal paperwork you need to sign up or anything. Just, you know, indicate your message. You're writing about the Aqua rate case, and our folks will get it to the proper place so the commissioners see it. After the public hearings that happened, we also scheduled what we call an evidentiary hearing. This is a bit more technical. I'd like to call it, or say it's analogous to a court proceeding. So one of the key points in a rate case, the utility bears the burden of proof of demonstrating what they're asking for is reasonable under Ohio law. So they need to prove that. And at an evidentiary hearing, they will put up expert witnesses to testify under oath to support their position in a rate case. The PUCO staff will do the same and speak to our staff report that I mentioned earlier, which very often provides recommendations that might be slightly different from what the utility is asking for. And then also there are in all rate cases, there are several advocacy groups that get involved too. I said earlier that the PUCO itself is not necessarily an advocacy agency, excuse me. There are several though. Most notably, which might be of interest to you, is the Ohio Consumers Council. Perhaps you've heard of them. They are another state agency. By law, they represent all residential utility customers across the state. I would fully expect that they're going to get involved in this case and do a similar analysis that the PUCO staff is doing. They will most likely provide their own recommendations on what they think are fair, just, and reasonable rates. So, as residents or the township, you might consider engaging them as well. Cities, townships, and whatever can also participate in rate cases either formally or informally. Sometimes we see municipalities retain, lawyers that advocate through that way. Very common to also see, resolutions passed, stating a position on a rate case. That is certainly welcomed by the commission as well. After that evidentiary hearing, we invite the what we call interveners in the case, but formal legal parties to file briefs, which essentially they're legal arguments. That can take a month or two. And then, so as I said, about 275 days. So it's about a 9-month process. And then we see a commission order. They issue a decision. It's very much like a panel of judges issuing a written order, analyzing and setting what the appropriate yearly revenues are per utility, what the rates should be per customer class, and then order the utility to put those rates into effect. There is an appeal process to a PUCO rate case, and that's often exercised. Any of those intervening legal parties can seek what we call rehearing. In lay terms, I would say that's essentially asking the commission to reaffirm its prior order. And then that process can either result in the commission changing course a little bit, either doing a 180 or just altering their initial order a bit. Once that process is expired, interestingly, the PUCO rate cases and other decisions by the PUCO are appealable directly to the Supreme Court of Ohio, again, by any of those intervening parties that have legal representation. Unlike most cases that are seeking Supreme Court attention, the Supreme Court is bound by law to take up appeals of PUCO orders. I think that's rather unique in terms of how they hear the cases. So that happens from time to time. So like I said, we will be scheduling public hearings. Those won't be announced probably until the fall. We wait until after our staff report has been issued. That way consumers that want to come testify have the benefit of reading or analyzing the PUCO's analysis of the utilities rate case. We always had, there's of course Blendon Township, a couple other pockets around Franklin County, so I can't say where it will be, but there will be one here in Franklin County somewhere, and we'll be sure that you guys receive word of that and are able to come. But like I said, we like comments at any time, race online. We also operate a customer call center, so it's a 1-800 number. If you remember, 1-800-686-PUCO. We have customer service representatives that can help answer any utility question you have, whether it's about this specific rate case or if it's about just being a customer. Maybe your customer is AEP Ohio or Columbia Gas, and can help mediate billing disputes or get things corrected like that. So you could also leave your comments on an Aqua rate case with those folks as well. All of the documents related to this case are publicly available on our website. If you go to puco.ohio.gov, you'll find a link for what we call our docketing information system. You can do an advanced search and just type in Aqua, it should pop right up, but each case that the PUCO is assigned a case number, so a unique number. The water rate case is 25-594. They are also, in addition, I should have mentioned, Aqua is seeking a rate increase for water service and sewage service. We actually analyze these separately. Technically speaking, it's two separate services. So the sewer rate case is 25-593. You can reference those in written comments to us. You don't have to. You just mention Aqua rate case, and our staff will get it filed appropriately. So I hope this is a helpful overview. I did bring, and I think I only brought 10 copies, but I have a rate case process outline. It is verbatim off our website, so if you just Google PUCO rate case process, it'll be the first thing that pops up. And it kind of describes the process that I kind of went over here. But I hope this is helpful information to the trustees, to the residents of London Township. And I'll just end with, you know, the commission really does take great care to balance all of the needs of Ohioans, utility companies, but it is certainly mindful of the impact of rates on residents and all customers. And with that, public comments really do matter. They can certainly shape the outcome and perspective of the commissioners as they're issuing their decision. So I applaud the township for being engaged early. We want to hear from you all, so please don't hesitate. I'll leave my card. I gave it to Mr. Myers has my contact information. I also serve as the commission spokesperson, so if you just Google my name, it pops right up with my phone and email. Don't be a stranger. Happy to help you guys navigate this rate case process as it proceeds.
Thank you, Mr. Schilling. That was very informational. And just to clarify, you said that you would stick around after the meeting if anybody has any
Yeah, I
questions?
can hang around for a little bit, yep. All right, thank you.
Next order of business is a proclamation that I'm going to be reading. We have a Glendon Township resident who is celebrating a very important milestone in his life in 9 days. He is going to be turning 100 years old, but that's not why we're doing the proclamation. He's also one of our few remaining World War II veterans. If you were at our Memorial Day ceremony where we recognized veterans, we gave a special shout out to him during our Memorial Day ceremony. The trustees have actually been invited to attend the celebration that the American Legion and the VFW is putting on for him on his birthday. So we thought it only appropriate that we make a proclamation, and I'd like to read it. Proclamation recognizing the 100th birthday of Mr. Al Surratt, Glendon Township World War II veteran. Whereas Mr. Al Surratt, a longtime and respected resident of Glendon Township in Franklin County, Ohio, is celebrating his 100th birthday, a milestone that reflects a life of dedication, patriotism, and community involvement. And whereas at the young age of 17, Mr. Surratt answered the call to serve his country by enlisting in the United States Navy, where he honorably served in World War II and has continued to live a life of integrity, citizenship, and service. And whereas Mr. Surratt is a proud member of both the L.S.E. Woodrow Memorial VFW Post 7883 and the American Legion Young Bud Post 171, actively contributing to veteran support and remaining involved in community and civic events. And whereas his presence at various township events and his commitment to veterans organizations exemplify the values of service and community spirit that define Glendon Township. And whereas it is fitting and proper to recognize Mr. Surratt's remarkable life, his military service, and his continued contributions to our township, now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of Glendon Township, its employees and residents, do hereby proclaim July 11th, 2025 as Al Surratt Day in Glendon Township, Franklin County, Ohio, and extend our deepest appreciation and warmest congratulations to Mr. Surratt on the occasion of his 100th birthday. Happy birthday, Al. In witness whereof, we are signing this document to proclaim and dedicate the 11th day of July 2025 as Al Surratt Day. Trustee comments. Who would like to go first?
I can go.
Okay.
Okay, so Administrator Myers and I recently attended a JADC meeting regarding the Sunbury Road Executive Parkway project. The board members were pleased with the number of survey responses and the strong attendance at the open house. I sincerely appreciate all the residents who participated. The resident input is truly valued. and plays a key role in shaping this project. So the project details are available on our website, Linden's website, under the Government tab, Economic Development. Residents can go there and follow up the ongoing updates and more. Right now we have 2 updates on there. The survey is now closed because of the great response that we had from the open house and the surveys. So we won't be having another open house. We're preparing to move into the final adoption and the planning stage. In addition to that, what I've been doing, I've been actively researching grant opportunities for this project as well as others, preparing our July email blast. And for those that maybe are live streaming, you can sign up on our website at blendentwp.org. I've been working with our administrative assistant to update our website, helping to organize Blendon Summer Concert, which is Friday, July 12th. 6 to 8 in the Summer Woods Commons. I am participating in continuing education through the Ohio Township Association and much more. That's it. Thank you. Do you have any comments?
I have a couple. The Blendon Beautiful Initiative update. We continue to press Glengarry Shopping Center and the car wash on Executive Parkway to keep their areas clean and constantly monitor their progress. Our township crew continues to clean our parks and other common areas owned by the township on a daily basis. If you see an area that's owned by the township that needs cleaned up, please email either myself or Pat, and we'll make sure we get on that very quickly. As promised at the last meeting, or last month, the monthly totals for police runs are as follows. I had Chief Belford break it down into 4 areas of our township: Huber Ridge area, Sunbury Woods, Cleveland Heights area, east of Sunbury Road area. I wanted to make sure our residents knew how many runs our township police make on a monthly basis, and plan to continue to share this information with you monthly as long as the information is available to me. During the month of June alone, our police made 478 runs, which averages just over 16 a day. That was almost double last month. Huber Ridge area had 71 runs, Sunbury Woods 18, Cleveland Heights area 27, east of Sunbury Road 23. The additional runs not included in the preceding totals are for the areas outside of the neighborhoods like Westerville Road, Industrial Park, Sunbury Road 161 and 270. So if you have any other questions, let me know, but I'll try to keep this updated on a monthly basis for everyone. That's all I have.
Okay. I have a couple comments. We have several surveillance cameras in Ridgewood Park, but none monitored the shelter house. So I asked our administrator if a camera could be installed to monitor that, and there is now a camera there. July 4th, coming up, is the 249th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. There will be several initiatives to commemorate this milestone in our country's history that will be happening between now and next year's semi-quincentennial on July 4th as a result of receiving the grant from America 250 Ohio that I applied for at the beginning of the year and received in April. Since the requirement for the grants was to educate and tell stories concerning local history and or honor veterans, especially Revolutionary War veterans, most of our township initiatives will be taking place in November, since Veterans Day is in November. Information about the events will be promoted in plenty of time for residents to put on their calendars. So please enjoy this year's 249th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, but be safe. And my last announcement is just to reiterate that July 12th is our next township summer concert in the Sunbury Woods Common Space. Please join us for an evening of free food, music, kids, activities, and fun. The band is Stop, Drop, and Roll this time. On to the fiscal report. Ms. Burry.
Yes, have you had an opportunity to look at the meeting minutes from June 18th?
Yes, I will move to approve the meeting minutes from June 18th.
Second.
Any discussion?
No.
Okay, call for the vote.
Michael?
Yes?
Shineberry?
Yes.
Seymour?
Yes.
And then have you had an opportunity to review the purchase orders?
Yes, I will move to approve the purchase orders as presented.
Second.
Any discussion? the vote.
Michael? Yes. Cinnaberry?
Yes.
Piedmont?
Yes.
And have we had an opportunity to review the bills?
Yes, and I will move to pay the bills as presented.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Call for the vote.
Michael?
Yes.
Cinnaberry?
Yes.
Piedmont?
Yes.
The next item is Resolution 2025-20. This is the 2026 annual tax budget. This is filed with the county by July 20th, and it allows the County Budget Commission to determine that we need all the tax levies that we currently have. The outcome of this will be a resolution right around October where we pass that resolution to accept those amounts and rates as set by the Budget County Commission. So I'd like a motion to approve the 2026 tax budget as presented.
I will move to approve resolution 2025-20 as presented, which is the 2026 tax budget.
Second.
Any discussion? Call for the vote.
Michael? Yes. Cinnaberry?
Yes.
Piedmont?
Yes.
Next is Resolution 2025-21 for supplemental appropriations. The first one is related to the grant that Mrs. Shinberry was just discussing. So what this does is it sets the supplemental appropriations, so we have the ability to spend those funds for the allowable items in accordance. And that's for $5,000. The next, so this is related to the ARPA grant. We were required to have everything obligated as of December 31st, 2024, which we did. There's a system glitch in UAN. So in 2024, a 2023 purchase order was closed. When you do that in our accounting system, it no longer has those funds as available until the following year. So since we weren't able to put it on the PO, even though it was obligated, it didn't carry over with the associated appropriations. So now we have to ask for it to be appropriated again so we could spend it by the deadline. So this is the remaining ARPA funds for $12,501.76.
Okay, I will move to approve resolution 2025-21, approving the supplemental appropriations as presented.
I will second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Okay, call for the vote.
Michael?
Yes.
Shinnaberry?
Yes.
Piedmont?
Yes.
Is that everything approved?
That is everything.
On to Administration and Human Resources, Mr. Meyer.
Sure, thanks. I got a few things for you. First, I didn't read the public comment guidelines tonight because there was no public comment. But one of the things I want to add to that, and I want everybody in the audience and YouTube and whoever else hears this, if public comment ends, you don't have to wait till the next meeting if you have a concern or anything. You can email me anytime. You can email the trustees and we'll respond. You don't have to wait till the next meeting to bring up your concern. So feel free to email or call. My number's out there, my cell phone's out there. I mean, my cell phone number's out there, my email's out there. And I'm happy to hear from you whenever you guys need. So I just want to put that out there. We don't need to wait. Next, I will ask for resolution 2025-19 is a resolution for necessity for the police levy. With the failure of the police levy in May, there's still a need for our funds for our police. So we're going to go back to the residents and ask them to pass the police levy in November. So if you approve this tonight, I'll send it to the auditor's office. They'll certify it. It'll come back on the 16th of July. We'll do a resolution to proceed. If you approve that, I'll take it to the Board of Elections and we'll get the ballot language in plenty of time. So I would ask for approval of that tonight.
I'll move to approve resolution 2025-19 for the necessity police levy.
Second.
Any discussion? Call for the vote.
Michael? Yes. Shinnaberry?
Yes.
Piedmont?
Yes.
Thank you. Next, aqua water increase request opposition letter to the PUCO. So we had spoke about this, and I know the trustees thought this may be something they wanted to do or did want to do. So I would ask for a motion to direct me to submit that letter opposing the aqua water increase and requesting denial of that increase.
I will move to direct you to submit a letter to the PUCO opposing the aqua water increase.
I will second.
Any discussion?
Yes, before we vote, I'd like to read the letter that we're going to send to PUCO. Dear PUCO Commission, at the Blendon Township Regular Trustee Meeting held on July 2nd, 2025, the Board of Trustees unanimously passed a motion opposing the proposed 16.41 rate increase requested by Aqua Ohio, Inc. Such a substantial increase would place an undue burden on many of our residents who are already struggling to make ends meet in today's challenging economy. This is not the first rate increase that has been opposed by the trustees. In previous cases, despite our objections, the increases were approved, forcing residents to absorb these added costs into their already strained household budgets. We respectfully urge the Commission to take a close and critical look at the necessity of this proposed increase. We ask that you consider the significant impact it would have on our community and make the decision to reject this proposal. Thank you for your time and consideration, the Blendon Township Board of Trustees.
Have some discussion.
If there's any other discussion, sorry.
I would like to add also, this letter will be on our website tomorrow, under the residents tab, where you'll be able to see that. We will electronically send this to PUCO, and that, I'm not sure if that will be the first of the week that you'll see it online there, or possibly tomorrow. But we'll send it in the morning. That's it.
Okay, call for the vote.
Eichel?
Yes.
Schoenberg?
Yes.
Piedmont?
Absolutely.
Okay, anything else, Mr. Meyer?
I do. Multiple things, actually. Next is a nuisance resolution. I'd ask for approval. Our code compliance group's been very busy, and we had done 4 different nuisance resolutions, and we did actually cut grass. We didn't. We had it done and put it on the tax bill of the owners of the property. And this is a second resolution at the address at 3771 Caracas Drive. So I would ask approval to go ahead and do the nuisance resolution again, and we will have contracted out to have that grass cut if you approve this resolution.
I will move to approve resolution NU 2025-05.
A second.
Any discussion? Call for the vote.
Eichel? Yes. Schoenberg?
Yes.
Piedmont?
Yes.
Thank you, appreciate that. 2 more things. One, I would like to discuss the home rule resolution for managed landscape policy. There's been much discussion for a period of time, much research done internally, meeting with other jurisdictions, meeting with ODNR, many people, residents, and I believe that we are at a point where we have a final rough draft of that policy. So in order to enact that home rule resolution policy, we do have to go through a process, and that process includes 2 open meetings, public comment, and after the second, and I'll go through it with some dates. And after the second public meeting, after the first public meeting comment, if any changes are made, it's presented again. Second public comment, the trustees can either act or table, make any more changes, and vote in another meeting to either enact it or not enact it. So just let me go through real quick, if you don't mind, the dates. So on Wednesday, July 23rd, public notice will be posted for the first reading of the resolution. And at that time, a draft copy of the proposed policy will also be on our social media and our website. And that notice will be up once per week for 2 weeks. On Wednesday, 8/6, prior to the Board of Trustee meeting, that will be the first public meeting held. At that time, again, public meeting will be taken during the reading. The residents will be made aware that the board will consider any changes. We will announce the second meeting that night, which will be held August 20th, before the next Board of Trustee meeting. Again, we will, if there's any changes or not, the second version of the new policy draft will be put back out on social media. We'll publish notice on the 7th of August for the August 20th meeting. On August 20th, we'll do the second reading. And again, at that time, trustees can either choose to vote or table and come to another meeting, either vote or decline. So I just wanted to put it out there. It's a process that's going to take us to about the end of August to make a final decision on this, but it is in the process. The first draft is complete, and we'll start that process on July 23rd. Is there any questions of me on that? And I'll be putting all that stuff out on the social media as well, so. The last thing I have, and I got two guys over here that can chime in on me if they want to, the chiefs over there. There's been a lot of talk about the Sunbury Plaza fire lanes in front of the laundromat and all that over there, and it is a problem. There's been reasons why our police department can't act and so forth. But I got an email today from Fire Inspector Casto, and he met with Casto Properties, no relation. And they talked about what actually had to happen there to meet regulations for fire lanes and so forth, so that we can actively enforce parking there. So again, I'll let you chime in if I say something wrong, but by Casto's saying by the end of this month, additional sign will be installed on the pillars in the front of the business, and the curbs will be painted red with no parking fire lane on those curbs. Those curbs need to be red. And on the ground it will be marked as well, fire lane, no parking. The triangle there will be striped and painted red for clear identification. So it'll be marked the way by law it needs to be marked for us to be able to enforce. Is that fair?
I'll defer to the chief because the process starts with fire.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we're currently working with Casto now, and we'll continue to work with London PD to make sure everything's adequate so that it can be cited. A couple things. I know a lot of people take it for granted. We're noticing it's being used as parking, but we have to be able to get our fire trucks to the front of those buildings. And knock on wood, we've actually had a couple fires in the laundromat. So when those cars are there, they're blocking, it's delaying us. They cannot be there. You know, it's a convenience thing. You need to park out in the parking lot, and you need to leave that open for us to get in. So, and the last thing you want is us blocking the thing too, because you're going to be there the whole time that we're there.
So, when the property owner replaced the signs recently, about a month ago, they didn't replace them to the Ohio Revised Code specification. At that time, though, with the new fire lane signs up, our officers did start stopping in there multiple times a day. They stop in the morning, they stop in the afternoon, and they ask people to move their cars. We cannot write them a ticket for a fire lane violation or tow their car until it's properly marked. So once that happens, that gives us the ability to not only ask them to move their car, tell them they can receive a ticket or be towed if they do not. But they are actively working with people trying to get them to move. The problem is, they come by, they tell people to move, those cars go away, the next cars come in. They come by, they tell them to move, those cars go away, the next ones come in. So we're doing what we can within the law right now, and once it's properly marked.
Well, I just wanted to bring that up because I know that's something we've been talking about, hearing about, and I appreciate Inspector Casto meeting with the other Castos and getting that taken care of and your feedback as well. So we'll continue to monitor that, see when it's done. They said by the end of the month, so we'll keep an eye on it. And, that's all I have unless you have anything to me.
Okay, thank you. On to maintenance and grounds, parks, cemetery, Mr. Newman.
Yeah, so we will be out this evening spraying for mosquitoes, and we're gonna shoot for the middle of every week until fall. So we'll post that on the Facebook, and we'll put our signs out, let the residents know. Again, you guys can opt out by going to the township's website, go to the residents, opt out. But we'll be out there every week, about midweek. That's all.
Chief Belford, anything from the police department?
Yes. So as the board is well aware, on May 6th, the most recent police levy failed by 22 votes. The next day, on May 7th, the federal government, Department of Justice announced a grant for police departments to either call back officers from layoff or prevent officers from being laid off who are scheduled for layoffs. We have successfully submitted an application for that grant. We will know toward the end of the year whether we are awarded that grant or not. In the month of June, the state of Ohio opened a similar grant for preventing layoffs or calling back laid off police officers, and we have successfully submitted an application for that grant. So we are now into the waiting process on those two grants. On both of them, there is a continuing procedural feature whereby if a police levy is passed, either before the grants are awarded or after, we then go in and we amend our financial report. Even if they've already awarded us the grant but haven't given us the money yet, we would amend the report at the time a levy passed, and then the grant would be adjusted whether we were considered for the award or not based on the new financial situation. So the timing of this is that we will not know, even if we've been awarded the grant, until after the November election. But then that will impact whether we get the grant or not, based on the new financials if the levy passes. So we will keep the board informed of where we are in the process and if any notifications come back from the Department of Justice or the state of Ohio about those grants. But we are actively seeking to save some officers from pending layoffs should a levy not pass. Further in June, the state announced a grant for body cameras, which we have already purchased, but we are eligible to apply to have the state pick up the cost of our data storage and our software support, technical support of our body camera. So we have successfully submitted an application for the state to hopefully have them award us funds to offset the cost of the body camera, which again will relieve the pressure on the budget of a levy passed currently. Additionally, every year the month of June is usually a good indicator of what kind of 4th of July we're going to have. The number of fireworks complaints we have in June sort of sets the stage as people begin setting off fireworks. It's not a absolute indicator, but it gives us a pretty good idea. And I can report that fireworks complaints for the month of June this year are 66% lower than fireworks complaints last year. So hopefully that's a good sign that people are following the law. I did stop by Phantom Fireworks, which is our newest vendor of fireworks over on Cleveland Avenue in Minerva Park. They are in Minerva Park, not Glennon Township Police. They have Minerva Park Police, and they have Columbus Fire doing their inspections, so not Chief Miller. But I stopped in and spoke to the manager there. They are handing out, when people buy fireworks, a list of the dates and times people can use them. They are giving out consumer safety pamphlets on how to use them. And they even include pamphlets for things that are not required to hand them out for the lower grade of fireworks. They call them smokers, the snappers, things you can buy at Kroger's. They sell them also there, and they still like giving out safety information for that, even though that's not required by law. So hopefully between the safety efforts of the vendors, the law, and the fact that complaints are down, we're hoping for a safe 4th of July weekend, but we will still be ready to respond to any fireworks complaints, especially to determine if any juveniles have the fireworks or any adults who are in possession of alcohol while using fireworks, which is a misdemeanor of the 1st degree. It's greatly strengthened the law if someone's either using alcohol or juveniles are handling fireworks. And that's all I have for tonight.
Thank you. Chief Miller.
Yeah, just to add on to that, I wrote an article earlier in the year about fireworks for the newsletter. Essentially, if it fires into the air, you have a 150-foot radius around the firework, and that pretty much eliminates any neighborhoods. So if you remove Sunbury Woods, there's just not enough space for you to legally shoot a firework. You're not allowed to shoot them in the roads. You can't shoot them on public property. That includes the schools. So fireworks are dangerous. I met the state fire marshal a couple weeks ago. They've already had a couple of deaths in Ohio. These people were actually making fireworks. So there was one fatality, another was critically injured, and a 4-year-old was critically injured. So they're very dangerous. I know they're more available now, but you still got to handle them. They're explosives. I highly recommend you go to the shows. My team will be tied up with the Westerville show starting tomorrow. But essentially, if you're in a neighborhood 150 feet, I think the analogy I found the closest thing is if you take the Statue of Liberty from Lady Liberty's foot to the torch, that's 150 foot. So put that all the way around the firework and up in the air, that's what we're looking at. The other thing I noticed, we did Central College fireworks last Sunday. Humidity, there's a lot of factors that go into how high fireworks will go. We had some storms come through prior to that event, and a couple of the fireworks did not get the height that we were expecting. So I'm typically in the area of the launch, and we had fireworks that were exploding maybe half of where they should have, with a lot of debris raining down on the people that were lighting them. So everybody was okay, but again, I just can't stress enough, there's a lot of danger involved, especially in these large fireworks. The other thing is the ground-based thing, 50 feet is what the law requires on that too. And even with the 50 feet in most neighborhoods, there's just not adequate space for it. So just some things to keep in mind. You know, they did legalize fireworks, but you really have to have, almost be out in the country to have enough space to legally do it safely. So, with that, I wish everybody a safe and happy 4th of July. Our crews, we're pretty tied up with fireworks all over the next 2 to 3 days. And that's the other thing we don't talk about too is, you know, a lot of times, I don't want to say a lot, but sometimes those shells go up and they do not explode. And when they come back down, we got another issue. You know, if you don't catch it and dispose of it properly, you know, you may have kids, you may have pets, you may have somebody who stumbles on that, and again, it's still an explosive device. So, after the fireworks are shot off, when we manage them, we actually have to walk the field that night and look for any duds. And then we go back the next morning and check again, just to make sure everything's clear. The hardest thing for us is we get the number of fireworks that they have and they plan on shooting off. And sometimes we're okay on it, sometimes we miss, but we count how many are shot and how many explode. And usually we're within a couple, because like I said, not all of them always explode. So like I said, a lot goes into it. I know the law loosened up here in the last couple of years, but the danger is still there. So, the other thing, on a different note, we are collecting fans at the firehouse. We had a little bit of a heat wave last week. So 97.1, the fan was at Station 111. They did a broadcast from our firehouse. But we are collecting fans at all Franklin County firehouses, and we'll get those to people who are in need, so through Light Carolina. So if you'd like to donate a fan, you can bring it to any firehouse. You know, obviously we're there 24 hours. I'd appreciate not showing up at 2 in the morning with a fan, but you know, if you can come kind of normal business hours, and a little bit into the evening, that's okay. So that's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, both departments had lots of good information for us tonight. Thank you. And to conclude with the announcements, our next regular trustee meeting is July 16th, also at 6:30. And again, I want to reiterate to have a safe 4th of July. Unless anybody has anything else, I will move to adjourn the meeting. Okay.
I will second.
And it is 7:17. So, any discussion?
Just have a happy, safe 4th of July.
Okay, call for the vote.
Heickel?
Yes.
Shineberry?
Yes.
Demaco?
Yes.
Okay, this meeting is adjourned.